The pressure is low, gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road. How about that, guys? Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing right here and now. We want everybody to be in tune with us, guys, because we are in tune with you. We want to thank you all for being here today with us as well. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Now, with that said, let's get some housekeeping things out of the way from the very beginning. We appreciate you here. Please give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the program that we have set forth for you. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoy our programs overall, and let us know what you're thinking, okay? After this program is over, there are comments directly below this program here. Right below here, after we get off the air, there are comments here you can leave for us. We want to know your opinion about what you think is going on and what you think we could do better on our program. Also, besides that, at the bottom of your screen here, you're also seeing our email address scroll across the screen. That's because we have that here for you, okay? You can leave us comments there as well. Give us your opinion of what's happening in your lives, how you're doing preparation-wise, getting ready for whatever's going to happen, and also what you think we should talk about on this program. We want to know those things as well. Also, just below on the bottom of your screen here, you see our addresses here where you can give us donations to our program. Our PayPal addresses work. Our Venmo still does not work. We're trying to figure that out right now still, but you can send us donations to our PayPal addresses as well. Also here, you see our address here scrolling across your screen. 504 Bethel Road. 504 Bethel Road, Box 401. Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. We'd appreciate you if you'd send us a letter and or a card telling us how you're doing, telling us what emergency preparedness things that you're doing for you and your family. And also, please, if you will, you can send us a donation inside your card or letter. If you send a letter, make sure the letter is wrapped up around the check or the cash so nobody can see what it is from the outside, and mail it to us. The same thing with a card. Stick the donation inside your card and mail it to us. We haven't got anything since September. We have not received any kind of donations or letters or cards or anything since September. We appreciate all that you do for us as well. Okay? Please, guys, please help support this channel because it's important to keep this program on the air. Okay? It costs money to keep this program on the air. I hate talking about this. That's why I have avoided talking about it quite a bit. Also here, you can leave us a super chat here as well with a donation that goes to us as well. We'd appreciate that. Now, guys, we have a lot of things we need to talk about today. Now, you might think that we don't talk enough about earthquakes and disasters. That's because we don't have a huge lot of things to talk about. There have been some large earthquakes, but there is a 6.0 earthquake southeast of the Kamchatka Peninsula we want to bring your attention to right now. Okay, let's go over there. Let's go over there. Let me take down our webcam. Let's take down our EMA banner, and let's go over here to the Kamchatka Peninsula and take a look and see what's going on here. Right here's the southeast side of the Kamchatka Peninsula. This peninsula goes up into Russia. This peninsula goes up into Russia, guys. It's all Russian territory. This is the southeast side of Russia, the Kamchatka Peninsula. We've had a lot of large earthquakes here. A lot of large earthquakes. Over a month ago, we had an 8.8 earthquake. The USGS said was an 8.8, but it was actually a 9.4 earthquake. As I said before, we told you about the data that shows it's a 9.4 earthquake, that it was a 9.4 earthquake. Guess what? We are still seeing aftershocks from that earthquake. We're still seeing a lot of aftershocks from the earthquake, and this earthquake here is a 6.0 very strong earthquake. 5.0, 5.9 are considered to be large earthquakes. This is a 6.0 very strong earthquake. 7.0 and larger are major earthquakes. This is a very strong earthquake. 6.0, 6.9. This 6.0 hit here at approximately 10:46 p.m. last night. And we've had dozens of earthquakes since. USGS is only showing us a handful of earthquakes here. All of these earthquakes are aftershocks of that 9.4 earthquake that hit over a month ago. All of these earthquakes are aftershocks of that large earthquake. Okay? These earthquakes are going to continue. Aftershocks will continue for months and even years after a major quake like that. That major quake was a full plate rupture. A full plate rupture. Let me bring up our webcam again because I want to explain this to you. It needs to be explained. Okay? Over here on Kamchatka Peninsula, okay, this is the plate of Okhotsk. Over here is a sea of Okhotsk. This is the plate of Okhotsk, the Okhotsk plate, okay? It is being subducted under by the Pacific plate. The Pacific plate is subducting underneath the Okhotsk plate just like this, taking a deep dive in towards the mantle. That's what caused this major earthquake over a month ago, okay? But it was a full plate rupture, meaning the plate's completely separated. The plate's completely separated because of what's going on, okay? That's why we are still seeing so many aftershocks. Number one, it was a major earthquake. For all points and purposes here, this was not just a full plate rupture, but it was a Cascadia type event. It was a Cascadia type event. And as a result, we are seeing these earthquakes continue. And these earthquakes, like I said, are going to continue for months and even years after this. We've seen it happen all around the earth in the past 6.5 years that we've been on the program. We've seen 9+ magnitude earthquakes hit all around this planet. These are going to continue, I promise you that. This is only the beginning of it. This is only the beginning. Okay, I want to make that very clear. Now, why are we having these earthquakes now? Okay, the simple reason is we are having solar flares. Okay, the earth is rotating around the sun. As the earth rotates around the sun, we are seeing parts of the sun we haven't seen for a while. As we rotate around the sun is showing us a lot of sunspots that have been on the backside of the sun as we rotated. Okay, these sunspots have been very, very powerful sunspots. They've launched major solar flares. And those solar flares, when they hit the earth, they heat up the atmosphere, they heat up the plates, and they heat up the earthquake faults. And when that happens, all the gunk, all the grime, all the sand, all the dirt, all the biological material that's held these plates, and also the faults in place, and the plates in place, all that gunk and grime, all that biological material that's provided friction, holding the plates and the faults in place, all of a sudden becomes a greasy, oily-like substance, allows the plates more freely move like this. It lubricates the plates. That's why we're seeing these earthquakes now. They're going to continue. I promise you, they're going to continue. Now, we have several sunspots right now that are on basically the perimeter or the side of the sun, and they're going to rotate and be earth-facing. The sunspots have been causing problems on the backside of the sun for weeks now since they rotated to the backside. They're going to appear earth-facing. And that's going to cause more sunspots on our side of the sun, and those sunspots are going to launch large major solar flares. That's going to cause more earthquakes around the world. That is definitely going to cause more earthquakes around the world. Okay, that's one of the reasons we're seeing earthquakes today. This is the only big earthquake that we really need to talk about today. Yet there are some 5.0 earthquakes as well. This earthquake here is a 4.4. This earthquake here is a 4.6 or 4.4 as well. Sorry, 4.4. This earthquake is a 4.5. This earthquake to the north is a 4.4 again. Down south here, this is in the area they call the Kuril Islands. The Kuril Islands here also belong to Russia. These are also aftershocks of that earthquake. Okay, this is a 4.5 earthquake here. This is another 4.5. 4.0, 4.9 are called moderate earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes. This is going to continue to happen. My buddy Don Patoga is trying to be funny, which he is. He's saying this is not going to be a good time in the EMA sandbox. You're right. It's not going to be. Because these earthquakes are going to tear apart our Earth. They are going to tear apart our Earth as we know it. We know it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. It's literally a matter of time. We have a large earthquake down here in the Mariana Trench. Okay, this happens to be a 5.9 6.0 earthquake. 5.9 6.0 earthquake, and I actually think this was a 6.4. USGS has it as a 5.9. This is 119 miles west-southwest of Marizo Village, Guam. Marizo Village, Guam. Let's go up here to Guam. This island of Guam is a territory of the United States. It actually has a military base here. Military base Guam. This is a Navy base. Okay? Now, this earthquake had nothing to do with Guam. Okay? The waters of the Pacific Ocean absorbed the shock waves of this quake. This earthquake was far enough away from Guam that the earthquake had nothing and no influence on the island of Guam today. It could have if it had been closer. Now, we are probably going to see earthquakes closer to these islands and also closer to big, huge populations like we have on Guam. It's going to happen. At some point in time, it will happen. It's happened in the past. It's going to happen again. Now, be advised, what the USGS is showing us here is not really all the truth. It's not all the truth. There are 46 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 46 earthquakes here in Indonesia. USGS is showing us 3 here in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. Showing us 3 out of 46. Those are terrible odds. This earthquake here, this is in Tobelo, Indonesia. This is a large 5.2 earthquake. However, it's also out here in the Seram Sea. It's not near any island here. The ocean waters of the Pacific, the Seram Sea absorbed the shock waves of this quake. 5.2 earthquake down here near Tobelo, Indonesia. 70 miles west of Tobelo, Indonesia. Okay, one more earthquake over here. This is near Aveyah, Indonesia. This is 117 miles northwest of Aveyah, Indonesia. This was on land here. This was not in the mountainous population. Okay, now why do I mention mountains? Because the mountains are the backbone of the plate. There are 7 different tectonic plates going through this region. 7 different tectonic plates. Each tectonic plate is subducting under the other just like this. Each and every tectonic plate in this region are subducting under the other tectonic plate just like this. That's why we have earthquakes here. This was a 5.0 earthquake near the coastline of Indonesia here. Okay, now, while this isn't new or near a huge population of people, there are people that live over here. There are villages such as this. Villages all over Indonesia here. Okay, those people felt this earthquake. Those people felt this 5.0 large earthquake. There's going to be damage here. There's going to be a lot of damage here. Why? Because these people don't have much money. The people that live in the Isles of Indonesia and Papua New Guinea don't have much money. Their homes consist of mud and sometimes wooden shacks. Mud and sometimes wooden shacks that are protected by tarps. That's all they have. So when an earthquake of this magnitude hits, it has devastating influences on those people. We need to pray for these people. They need God's help, guys. They really do. They need God's help to survive things like this. This is not the first time it's happened either. This is very much not the first time it's happened. This earthquake to the northeast here, this is a 4.8 earthquake, 78 miles west-northwest of Aveyah, Indonesia. This is offshore. For all intents and purposes, people may have felt some part of this earthquake on shore, but this has no lingering damages except for that other 5.2. That's it. That's it. Now let's go further to the east here. This is Papua New Guinea. Okay. This is a 5.1 earthquake here. Notice where it's at. Notice where this is at. It's on the center of this island. Look where the plate is. Way further south, hundreds of miles south. We're still having earthquakes here. This also is a part of the plate. Okay? It's basically in the foothills of these hills here. Okay? It's in these foothills. 5.1 earthquake here. 55 miles northwest of Kondri in Papua New Guinea. Again, there are villages here. There are no huge towns at all, but there are villages of people living here. They are being affected by this earthquake as well. 5.1 earthquake here. 5.1 earthquake here. This is one of the villages here. These are clouds, but there are villages here near this river. See the rivers here? People exist along the river because they literally live off the river. They use the water from the river to irrigate their gardens. They use the water from the river to have fish to live on. That's what they do here. These people felt this earthquake. These people felt this earthquake. 5.0 earthquake is a very powerful earthquake in these areas. Okay? But again, these are not the only earthquakes here. The USGS is only showing us earthquakes that they want us to know about, nothing more. There is an earthquake on the Antarctic Ridge here, south of Australia. This is a 4.7 earthquake, moderate earthquake. On the Antarctic Ridge, this earthquake did no damage. This again is plate movement. The Antarctic plate. This is complete plate movement. We've had large earthquakes down here before. We've had 5.0s, 6.0, 6.5s. We've even had 7.4 earthquakes down here on the Antarctic Ridge. Okay? The Antarctic Ridge stretches out here to the east, doesn't it? Also stretches out here to the west. Stretches out here to the west. Goes over here in the Indian Ocean. Then it goes down to the southwest, south of Africa. Goes over here into the Atlantic Ocean. What's this? What's this, guys? This is another 5.1 earthquake, large earthquake. It's in the South Sandwich Islands. The South Sandwich Islands here. Okay? Now, this earthquake is not affecting anybody here. The South Sandwich Islands here are basically only bird inhabited. Only bird inhabited. Okay? It's very cold. It's icy. Right now, it's very extremely cold. Okay? Nobody goes there. Sometimes scientists will go there and check on the birds, and then they will leave. They don't stay. They don't stay at all. This seismic energy here is going to move further out here to the east in the Atlantic Ocean. Then it's going to go up the mid-Atlantic here. It's going to go up the mid-Atlantic fault. Mid-Atlantic fault is expanding. The mid-Atlantic fault is expanding like this. That's bad. That's bad. The mid-Atlantic fault is pushing Africa and Europe in an easterly direction. It's pushing Africa and Europe in the easterly direction. It's pushing South America, Central America, Mexico, the United States, Canada, and Greenland in a southwesterly direction. You need to remember that. We have earthquakes here in Africa. We have earthquakes all over Europe. We have earthquakes here on the East Coast of North America, but rarely does the USGS even acknowledge that. When we have time, I show you the earthquakes here on the East Coast just to show you what is actually going on. So you don't think that it's not happening, but it is. It's always happening. Always happening. Okay? Now, down here in South America, USGS is only showing us one earthquake. What a joke. 36 earthquakes here in South America, they show us 2. Unreal. Over here in central Chile, this is a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. 4.4 moderate earthquake near the coastline. Moderate earthquake. I don't believe this earthquake did any damage, if anything at all. Why do I say that? Moderate earthquakes can knock pictures and things off of walls. They can knock books and knickknacks off of shelves. They can rattle dishes off of cupboard shelves as well. They don't do major damage. They do large scale damage at all. But there are other earthquakes here. There are other 2.6s, which are minor earthquakes. They're 3.2, 3.5, 3.7, 3.9. There are 4.0 and all the way up to 4.7 moderate earthquakes here in South America. Right here. There are 12 to 14 earthquakes right here. There are 14 earthquakes earlier. They may have taken 1 or 2 down. There are at least 12 to 14 earthquakes around this earthquake here. Central Chile. Going north. Right up here. Atacama, Chile area. Atacama is a region of Chile. We have another 14 to 16 earthquakes here. Always without fail. Earthquakes here range in size from 3.0 to 4.7 earthquakes here. They're not showing them. Over here in Peru, we have 2 earthquakes here in Peru. One earthquake is down here. I believe this is a 4.5 earthquake right here that they're not showing us here. Over in the farmland areas of Peru right here. This earthquake is a 4.2. This earthquake is near Atlanza, Cristlanza, Peru. Atlanza, Cristlanza, Peru. 4.2 earthquake. This is 70 kilometers deep. A very shallow earthquake. Okay. The earthquakes here in Colombia. 2.0 to 2.5 earthquakes here in northern Colombia. Right in this area right here. Earthquake, 12 earthquakes here. Of course, they're not going to show them to us. 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico, guys. That's always the case. We've been having anywhere from 30 to 50 earthquakes here a day as of late. That's normal. That's going to be the new normal. We just got through having another large earthquake down here in southern Mexico last week. Those are going to continue to happen. Why? Because these swarms of earthquakes are going to cause larger, more dangerous earthquakes. They're going to cause larger, more dangerous earthquakes. That's a fact. That's a fact. And the seismic energy here is going to push up north. It's going to push to the north on the San Andres Fault. The San Andres Fault. The same fault runs from southern Mexico along the coast, goes up through the Gulf of California here and into northern Mexico and southern California. That happens. We also have energy on the San Andres Fault up here to the north. Yes, the San Andres Fault starts up here to the north. It's where the Cascadia meets the Cascadia earthquake fault here. The Cascadia subduction zone. Okay. Now, as I said at the beginning of last week, we are going to have a major earthquake in Southern California on the San Andres Fault. That's going to happen. But anywhere else along the San Andreas Fault, it could also happen. A major earthquake on the San Andreas Fault could spark the Cascadia subduction zone. And the Cascadia subduction zone up here to the north, where we're due to have a major Cascadia event here, a mega thrust earthquake, a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake here, probably within the next 5 years. That could also trigger the San Andreas Fault. The whole fault. Every fault here is going to be affected by it. That 9.0, 10.0 earthquake is going to be felt up here in Alaska. It's also going to be felt all the way down here to northern Mexico because of the San Andreas Fault. We'll get into more of the San Andreas Fault this week. I promise you we'll get into the San Andreas Fault, what's happening in Southern California, what's happening in Washington, Oregon this week. We'll get that. Okay? We'll talk about the East Coast. We'll talk about the Pneumatic Fault this week. I have something very important I need to speak with you tonight about. It has nothing to do with earthquakes. It has absolutely nothing to do with earthquakes. But it has everything to do with you and I, our existence on this earth. Literally. Literally. Now, most of you have heard about the food stamp crisis here in the United States. I'm going to talk about the food stamp crisis and how it's going to affect the entire planet. What happens here in the United States affects all the countries around the world. Always. Always. Okay? This food stamp crisis that we are in the middle of right now. You might already know that you're not being told the truth. The truth of the matter is the whole thing has been engineered by the Democrat Party, the Democrat Socialist Party of America. Obviously, the Republican Party, the conservative party in the House of Representatives, Congress, they post what they call a clean CR, a continued resolution. A continued resolution to fund the government of the United States through at least March of next year. They passed this continued resolution over to the Senate of the United States. There are two houses of government here in the United States. One is the Congress, the sitting House of Representatives. The other house is the Senate. The Congress, the House of Representatives, is the lower house. The House of Representatives are responsible for funding programs, funding the government as well throughout this country. They also approve expenditures around the world that the United States gives other countries. All expenditures are funded through Congress. They can't go to the president and get the president to fund anything without the Congress approving it. Then the Senate, the House and the Senate approve what's going on, and they forward it up to the President of the United States for his signature. That's how it works. But the truth of the matter is the House of Representatives gave a bill to the Senate to go through, make corrections, send it back to the House for possible revisions, then send it back to the Senate. The Senate then says, okay, we'll forward it to the president, which they do, and then the president signs off on it. That's not what happened this time. Over 5 weeks ago, the House of Representatives forwarded the clean resolution to the Senate to vote for it. But instead of voting for that, they allowed the SNAP benefits and everything else to expire. Our government is not funded to operate at all. However, the House of Representatives and the Senate are still getting paid. Whether they do anything or not, they're still getting paid. The Democrats walked off the job. They walked off the job. As of yesterday, the Democrats, for the 14th time, did not sign the clean resolution. They refused to sign it. Now, I have my reasons that I think why they did it. I'm going to give those reasons to you right now, then we'll go on with this. The Democrats did not sign on to the clean resolution because they wanted the election go by, which is today. They were trying to push their agenda through our citizens who vote for them. Now, this is not an election where necessarily all of the Senate or the House are going to lose members of their constituents. Okay? That doesn't usually happen. Yes, 1 or 2 seats pass by, but next year is 2026. That's when there's a major election for both the House and the Senate. This time, only a handful of seats will be reviewed. Most of the election here is going to be with state and local races. State races for public seats, mayors and governors. Mayors and governors. Yes, next year, more mayors and governors will be elected. But today's election is primarily governors and mayors and other policy differences that the public has to know about and vote on. There's something going on in New York that all of you need to know about if you don't already know about. I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes because it has devastating circumstances could happen after today. Okay? But obviously, the Senate did not approve the continuing resolution yesterday. They voted against it. This ensues chaos all over. We literally have 25 states that are suing the Trump administration. And in the way, there's a power play going on here. And you guys are probably not even knowledgeable of it, but we're going to talk about that. You're going to be blown away by what I talk about. There is a lot more going on here. Now I'm looking at the screen here and it's telling me we only have 29 people watching us. We had 35 just a few minutes ago. I was hoping we'd have more people here because this is going to affect everybody. What is going on in the United States is going to be affecting everybody worldwide and everybody here in the US, everybody in Canada as well. There is a lot more going on than what the mainstream media or the US government is telling us. There are major things in play that I haven't heard anyone talk about, even in the alternative media. So I would ask all of you to please listen to this entire broadcast today. We've got so much to share with you because the truth of the matter is the SNAP crisis goes much further and deeper than anyone is letting on. Let's start first with the big picture here. Let's start first with this big picture. What's going on here? Now, you may have heard about a group in the news media called Politico, or Politico. Politico, Politico, their news show. As you know, on November 1st, nearly 42 million Americans lost their food stamp benefits. 42 million Americans, well, guess what? I just found out, and Congress just found out as well, there are more than 42 million people who are on the program besides Americans. They're called illegal aliens. Illegal aliens. And those people are getting paid more money than American people. The illegal aliens are being paid more from SNAP benefits than what the American citizens are getting paid. That's why the Democrats did not want to do anything. They were so afraid that the Republicans, the Conservative Party, were going to find out about this. and the other constituents throughout the country were going to figure out what's going on. The citizens of this country now know. Okay? It's not just the American citizens who are getting money. The illegal aliens are actually getting more money than the citizens of this country. Millions of low-income Americans are losing access to food and to food aid, as the nation's largest anti-hunger program goes dark for the first time in its history. Congress has failed to reopen the government. They failed to reopen the government before funding the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program that ran out on Saturday. Remember, the Senate Democrats had a clean CR that's now over 15 odd times they voted against it. Nothing on it was other than let's pay for certain parts of the government, and they choose not to do it. The entire boondoggle is absolutely being engineered by the Democrat Party to ensue chaos in this country. Unfortunately, this weekend, we knew what was going to happen. It actually started on Saturday before the 1st of November. The 1st of November was Saturday. The chaos and the looting started on Friday and continued throughout the weekend. You may have also seen video scenes of people going into Walmart and other stores, and yes, there were others, in fact, numerous videos that have been going viral. Rather than being accused of being racist, yes, I'm saying I would be accused racist if I was going to show those videos, because each and every one of those videos had Black African Americans. They had Black Americans on the video. Now, some of you might be yelling, racist, racist, Ron's a racist. Guess what? That's why I'm not showing the videos. I'm not even sure if the videos were real. There may have been AI. There may have been AI. But people were stealing from stores, full of shopping carts full of food, full of shopping carts full of food and other goods as well. I saw one shopping cart pushed through the checkout stands and out to the street by a Black man, full of steaks. Full of steaks, guys. There was no vegetables or other food there but steaks. The man was yelling, Trump wouldn't give them their money, so I'm taking it. I am leaving the store with baskets loads of food. And in case I saw a full shopping cart loaded with what? They term meat, not snacks, not other food, but steak. Again, I don't know the legitimacy of what we saw here. I don't know the legitimacy of what we saw there. That's why I'm not showing it to you. I don't know who's trying to call us, but if you're trying to call me and get through to us, please go to another place and call from that other location. I'm not going to answer any telephone calls while we're on the air. Okay? What I'm talking about, guys, is theft. High degree theft. In California, for example, you can steal from a store up to $1,000. Up to $1,000, and nobody will do anything about it. That's because what that government there has done. Unreal. But again, I don't know whether these videos are real or not, so I question the legitimacy of those videos, so they're not going on my air. If I can't prove it, it didn't happen. But we know darn well it did. Okay? I've heard other people yelling and screaming that President Trump cut the food stamps. He had nothing to do with it. President Trump had nothing to do with food stamps being cut. Nothing at all. Well, one of the videos I saw that I believe may have been legitimate, I don't know. Again, I'm not going to show it. But it showed an entire family. Mother, father, children, and even a 3-year-old daughter with either candy or fruit in her hands. Look, Mommy, I got it too. I'm helping. Running out of the store through the parking lot to their parents' car. The daughter screaming, Mommy, Mommy, let me in. Mother, father, and children stealing from the store. I find that appalling. Little 3-year-old girl, wait for me, Mommy. And her tiny little hands are full with what appears to be either candy or fruit. Incredible. I was appalled. I was totally appalled. Now, Brokefish Inn said a huge explosion and black smoke UPS plane went down near Louisville Airport in Tennessee. I'll try to find the information about that. And I'll put it on the air when I can here. But isn't it something? For me, that seeing that family steal from this store and that little girl running through the parking lot with things in her hands was heartbreaking to me. Totally freaking heartbreaking. Whole family stealing stuff. Parents setting the example for the kids. Oh, it's okay to steal. That's what's going to go on for years and years in those kids' heads. For the rest of their lives. It's okay to steal. 3-year-old girl with fruit or candy in her hand, whatever it was. That 3-year-old girl doesn't necessarily know what she's doing. She's just running across the parking lot with her family. Hey, my whole family's happy. We just run out of the store. This is just insane. This is absolutely insane. Now, if that is a legit video, again, it's literally insane. Teaching a small, innocent toddler girl that it is okay to steal. It's okay to steal. It's not. It's not okay to steal at all. Mark my words, there will be likely more looting going on. And you and I are going to end up paying for it in higher prices on the commodities that we buy. Looting goes on every day, with or without SNAP problems. But the Democrats are absolutely not doing anything about it right now. It does not seem that it is their intent to do anything about it. I've got a lot more to share with you. In light of everything that's going on with SNAP benefits, there are also protests that took place over the last few days. We have protests urging Arizona lawmakers to restore SNAP benefits in that state. Arizona lawmakers have nothing to do with the SNAP benefits other than making sure that the money is approved by the federal government. Then they disseminate that money to their different departments within their state government. But protesters are protesting against lawmakers. Incredible. Over in Philadelphia, they've actually had protests out on the streets, mostly in Democrat-run cities, with signs that read, Fund SNAP, not ICE. Fund SNAP, not ICE. Philadelphians call for expanded SNAP benefits. They want even more money. You can see that they're actually on the streets saying, we're not going to starve. Hands off our SNAP. Hands off our Medicaid. There's literally a protest taking place all over the country. And it's getting really hairy. Now, I need to get into the fact of this. There are 25 states that are now suing the Trump administration. 25 states are suing the Trump administration over SNAP. Isn't that something? 25 states suing Trump over SNAP. That's insane. That's literally insane. Here's the deal with that. The protesters have overstepped their grounds. The power of the purse does not belong to the executive branch of the United States. In other words, the President of the United States. He has nothing to do with it. The power of the purse belongs to Congress. So they are telling Trump to the protesters, and the courts are now telling Trump to usurp the authority of Congress, saying it's okay. It's okay. F Congress. Yes, I actually heard a protester in Washington, D.C. saying F Congress. We're going to go direct and straight to the Trump administration and sue the Trump administration. Now, we have 2 more judges that have got into the fray. 2 more judges have gotten into this battle. This is incredible. I think if you haven't already heard, you're going to be blown away by this. A court ruling, a judge, an actual judge from the Obama era, went way out of bounds. Since when does a court judiciary tell the executive branch to start making law? Or in this case, break the law to pay out SNAP benefits to the populace? That's impossible. Congress has the authority, not the president. Let me start back with those 25 states that are suing the Trump administration over SNAP. Food stamp freeze happened because the Democrat Senate walked out. A coalition of officials from half the states of this country, including the District of Columbia, sued President Trump. Today, they sued him over a suspension of food stamp benefits amid the ongoing government shutdown. Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries of the Senate, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, and others were on television proclaiming that Trump had shut down the government, when in all fairness and reality, the Democrats walked off the job 5 weeks ago, stating that unless the Republicans start paying benefits to the illegal aliens, that the Democrats were allowing these illegals to cross the border. And if we didn't allow it, if we conservatives here in this country did not allow it, the senators were going to walk away, and that's exactly what they did. 7 weeks ago, again, the House of Representatives, that holds the purse of this country, holds the expenditures of this country, gave the Senate a clean CR, a continued resolution, to keep the government open until at least March next year. The Democrats, led by Chuck Schumer, effectively walked out and shut down our government. Air traffic controllers are considered essential personnel. All federal law enforcement personnel that I used to belong to. No, I was not ICE, I was not Border Patrol. However, I worked with them sometimes. I worked with them when I had illegal aliens in custody for breaking the law, and I had to call the Border Patrol to turn them over to the Border Patrol. In some cases, I had to take them back to the border. I was a federal police officer in San Diego. When dipstick Bill Clinton shut down the government back in the 90s, I had to come to work twice without getting paid. It hurt. At one point, myself and other cops did not even have the money to put gasoline in our tank to come to work. My captain, out of the goodness of his heart, handed us his own credit card to allow us to put gas in our tanks. And after we got paid, we paid him back. Air traffic controllers and police are considered essential personnel, as well as all military and federal hospital personnel. Consider essential personnel. You have to work whether you're getting paid or not. And doing this is causing and putting a huge burden on those people and their families. It's not good enough that their jobs are high stress, or some of them have taken side jobs such as Lyft and Uber and other side jobs in order to just put food on the table. They're not paying their other bills as well, which could also be to their detriment. It's not enough to realize that they are putting their lives on the line for all of us. And if there's a slip up because of the increased stress, then what? There was a UPS plane that just went down today. What if there was a slip up with air traffic control as a result of this power trip by the Democrat Party? Who's really responsible? Who is really responsible here? I want to know. 42 million Americans have braced for disruption in food aid for an indefinite period. The states include California, New York, Pennsylvania, and others, including the District of Columbia. They're asking the judge in Massachusetts to order the Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, to provide benefits through the SNAP program for November. Just for November. What's going to happen in December? We don't know. But the judge has gotten involved telling the President of the United States to tap into contingency funds to ensure the assistance continues to flow to more than 25 million people. 25 million people are nearly half of the people that are on SNAP. Meaning, some of the greedy people want to get their SNAP benefits and to hell with everybody else. Yeah. 25 million people are telling the government to hell with the other people. They want their benefits. They want their benefits now. And some of these people are stealing from stores in order to get what they want. I'm going to get into those contingency funds right now. The bottom line is we actually don't have enough money in the contingency funds. There is not enough money in the contingency funds to keep SNAP alive. They argue, the judges argue that the administration decision to cut off food stamps, which are provided to 42 million Americans, it's unlawful. It threatens to deprive millions of other Americans, and it's going to cause deterioration of the public health and well-being. That's why SNAP first began, to make sure there was not a deterioration of public health, and also make sure kids and children were fed. Here's what the states are suing. I'm not going to read them all. It just kind of drags on, but Arizona's in there too. As this drags on, the Trump administration announced last week that food aid would not go out on November 1st. The Department of Agriculture declined to tap into $5 billion in contingency funds. They declined to tap into $5 billion in contingency funds. Why? Because that $5 billion is not enough to fund SNAP. So President Trump, through the Department of Agriculture, already said we can't tap into those funds. That's not what it's for. It's for disasters. It's for when bad things that happen. Those kinds of funds. And by the way, those contingency funds are not legally available to cover regular benefits. The contingency funds are not available to cover regular benefits. That's not what it's for. But regardless of it all, a judge comes in and rules in favor of these states. The Obama-era judge rules in the favor of these states. The judge says the Trump administration has no chance or no choice to continue paying food stamp benefits during the shutdown. They have no choice. Two Obama-era federal judges on Friday said that the Trump administration must tap into the contingency funds, which aren't supposed to be used to make payments for the SNAP program during the shutdown. Ruling against the government in a pair of suits over the lapse of benefits of 42 million Americans. That was a ruling. Judge Indira Talawini ruled that the government is required by law to tap into emergency money to make at least partial payments, and gave the administration till yesterday to tell the court whether it planned to do so. The other Judge McConnell on Saturday ordered the Trump administration to pay the benefits in full by Monday. Yeah, to pay the benefits in full by Monday. And report to the court by noon regarding the status of the distribution. In the order, and this is the key part here, the judge said that if the government chooses to use its discretion and decides not to use other funds to make the full payment, then it must make partial payment using the total amount of the contingency funds. The order said the contingency funds must be used to make partial payment by tomorrow, Wednesday. Houston, we have a problem. Here's the deal. How much money do we have in the contingency fund? It's about $5 billion. It costs $9 billion to fund the SNAP benefits. First of all, we don't have enough money to be used using the contingency funds. It's not there. Second problem, that's not what the contingency funds are available for. The law perfectly states what the contingency funds are for. The third problem is that the ruling by the judges is an illegal ruling. As I said in the beginning, you cannot order the executive office to usurp the authority from Congress. You cannot order the executive office of presidency of the country to usurp the authority of Congress, who has the power of the purse, to do that. Donald Trump kind of makes a point to this. Here's what he said in regards to the judge's ruling. Our government lawyers do not think we have the legal authority to pay SNAP with certain monies we have available now. Now, we have two courts here who've issued conflicting opinions on what we can and can't do. I don't want Americans to go hungry just because the radical Dems refuse to do the right thing and reopen the government. Therefore, I have instructed our lawyers to asked the court to clarify how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible because of what they're saying. And telling Donald Trump to do what to do is illegal. Telling Donald Trump to violate the law is illegal. President Trump is like, hey, clarify. Tell me how this is legal. Tell me how this is legal, guys. I want to know. I want my people to have food. I want to know what's going on here. Anyway, it's already delayed enough due to the Democrats keeping the government closed. And they don't even have a date to open the government. I'll discuss that again in a minute. And even if we get immediate guidance, if the Trump administration gets immediate guidance, it will unfortunately be delayed while the states get the money out. If we are given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it would be my honor to provide the funding just like I did with military and law enforcement pay. The Democrats should quit with spinning the charade that they've had. They're hurting the people. The Democrats are hurting their people with their own political reasons, and they should immediately reopen the government. If you use SNAP benefits, call the state. Call your state. Call your Senate Democrats. Tell them to reopen the government. Simple, simple, simple. There's a solution. The Democrats need to sign the clean CR. The Democrats need to sign the clean continuing resolution. That's it. This is wholeheartedly 100% on the Democrats because they are not signing the clean CR. But the judge has literally ignited a judicial coup on the executive office. The Obama-era judge has literally ignited a judicial coup on President Trump. What they're essentially doing is they told the president, I don't care what Congress has done. Congress has literally said, we're choosing not to fund SNAP. Yeah. That's what the Senate Democrats have said. We're choosing literally not to fund SNAP. Why? Because they want to cause chaos. They want the country to be in an uproar. That's on them. They have the power to do that. They have the power to stop the chaos and sign the resolution. They also have the power to not sign it and keep the chaos going on. That's their choice because the Democrats are doing it, right? And now the judge comes in illegally. The judge comes in illegally and says, you have to pay for it anyway, even though Congress hasn't done it. That's a big usurp of authority, isn't it? In fact, let's just throw this in. Before I came on the program, I decided to ask AI, does the president or Congress decide how to spend taxpayer dollars? Everyone knows the answer to this. AI said, Congress, not the president, holds the constitutional powers of the purse. Under Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, no money shall be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law. Appropriations made by law. Now, there was a time that Donald Trump said, we're going to declare a national emergency to build the border wall. Yeah. Remember him saying that? And then we're going to use those funds to do it. At that time, the court said, oh, no. You can't do that. The court cut President Trump in half during his last time in office. You can't do that. Why? Because Congress holds the power of the purse. Yeah. Congress holds the power of the purse. I went back to AI again. What happens if a judge orders the executive office to pay something that Congress refuses to fund? Do you want the short answer? A federal judge cannot force the executive to pay the money that Congress has explicitly refused to appropriate. Yeah, that's a simple answer. The President of the United States cannot be forced to put that money out that Congress said he has no business putting out. Such an order would violate the separation of powers and the appropriations clause. Such an order by the judge would violate the separation of powers and the appropriations clause. The executive can refuse to pay, citing lack of appropriation, which is basically what Donald Trump has said. We don't have the money. Go ahead, tell me how we can do this. Congress hasn't provided it. Now, I can't do what you say because I'm not in charge of the purse. Yeah. But yet these Democrat-leaning judges still ignite this political bombshell and coup against the president. These Democrat states are doing everything they can, trying to blame everyone but themselves. Going to the level of throwing a big frickin' charade, a temper fit, and having 25 states sue over something they know can't legally happen. You and I both know that President Trump wants to pay those SNAP benefits. So they're looking and seeing what they can do about this. They're looking and trying to find ways that they can go about this. So our children and our parents and our grandparents won't starve. That's what's happening. President Trump is spot on. Hey, we don't have the money. What do you want me to do? His hands are tied. There is an easy solution to this. It's called reopening the government. As I said in the beginning, this entire problem was engineered by the Democrat Communist Party. They are putting on the stage show, a great big charade. They're putting on this game in order to attempt to make Trump look bad, but it's not happening. It's making themselves look stupid. They're using this SNAP crisis for political means to incite chaos and incite their political base. That's what they're doing. This is exactly what's happening. We've already had runs on the grocery stores. YouTube and TikTok videos are out there. As I said, it's hard to tell on some of the videos if they're AI generated or not. That's why I'm not going to show them to you. I know some of them have been AI generated to cause problems, and those videos are not legit. It's hard to tell sometimes the difference between legit and non-legit. But I think there's something bigger afoot. 53. That's what's really happening. 53 Obama-era justices. The problem I have with what Democrats have done with the justices is suing the government. And the judges saying you have to pay for it. When the justices must know. The justices are not stupid. These justices must know what's going on. They must know the law. You can apply that to anything. So when you tell me when President Trump back in the day said, I'm going to use portions to pay the border wall, pay for the border wall, excuse me, and then the judge ruled completely different back then, saying, no, you can't use this money. You can't do that. You can't be tit for tat. You can't do that. And so if Donald Trump was actually forced to pay for it, that would make Congress irrelevant, wouldn't it? That would make Congress irrelevant. And that's for any and all presidents, Democrat or Republican. So imagine us having a Democrat president in place. And they just suddenly say, I don't like what Congress did with that money. I'm going to send it over here, or I'm going to send it over there. That is exactly what the judge is given the power of the presidency to do. That's exactly what that judge is given the power of the presidency to do. Do whatever he wants to do. My problem with that is this. I don't want just anybody to have that power, Republican or Democrat. I don't want it. I don't want, if President Trump has it, that means future Democrats are going to have that same power. Then we have a real issue. Get another Obama or Biden in there. And Lord knows what they can do with such power. It's happened before, it's going to happen again. If the judge is saying the executive branch has a power to usurp the authority of Congress, when Congress's main job and their whole job is, for the most part, to show where the money goes and how to decide where the money goes. How can then the president decide where the money goes? It's a coup unlike anything before. This is a coup like anything before we've ever seen or we've ever experienced in the over 250 years of our country that has been in existence. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is fully an abuse of separation of powers. That is fully an abuse of the separation of powers. That is why this is so important and why this should not be overlooked. We cannot overlook this. And now some are saying after today and today's election, yes, this is election day, this whole thing is going to be over by the end of the week. The Democrats will be back to work by the end of the week because they knew what they were doing. They were trying to stage a coup. They were trying to get rid of this president. They were trying to overpower the president. They used this election to do that. They're using this election to get more power for them. They're using this election to influence the election, influence the people of the United States, and I believe they've already done that. And by the looks of things going on in New York, it appears that the largest city in this country, New York City, is going to elect its first Muslim Islamic liberal mayor for the first time in American history. In doing this, this is going to be the downfall of the entire United States of America. Zohran Mamdani is a Trojan horse for the Islamic takeover of America. He said he was going to work with President Trump. He lied. We all know that was a lie. And here's a step-by-step documented indisputable proof. He has given his support of global jihad, meaning advocating for armed struggle jihad to establish Islamic governance and enforce their interpretation of Sharia law worldwide. Fact. He has also actually plainly confessed his support for global jihad in the 2008 landmark case, United States versus the Holy Land 5. 5 people were convicted of providing material support to Hamas by way of millions and millions and millions of dollars in violation of federal law, while disguising it behind charity. Fact. Those 5 people were sentenced to 65 years in a federal correctional facility. They were called the Holy Land 5. In 2017, under the pseudonym Mr. Cardamon, Zoran Mandani himself drops a rap song in which he states, quote, "My love to the Holy Land 5. My love to the people who funneled millions to Hamas." Better look it up. Look it up. Then Zoran Mandani recently asked, "Do you think Hamas should lay down its weapons?" That's it. His answer was that he had no problem with that. He had no opinion. When you have openly supported the funneling of millions and millions of dollars to Hamas, and since then they have committed a massacre that's killed over 1,200 Israelis, that was shot and killed Palestinians at point blank range. They're still doing it. They're still doing it. And you know now, you have no opinion on it, whether they should disarm. That's another way of saying they should disarm. Or I'm sorry, that's another way of saying I support the terrorists. Yes, he supports the terrorists. Not just Hamas, but terrorists around the globe and terrorists here that are embedded here in the United States. And we know those terrorists are here. You've seen them and I've seen them. They're laying low right now, but they're here. And you know what worries me? You know what worries me? The fact that this is the exact path that led a revolution in Iran. This is the exact path that led a revolution in Iran. Fact. It was this exact marriage of socialism and Islamism that we're now seeing people fall for all over again, all around the world. England, London, is ruled by an Islamic mayor. And now we're seeing London fall as well. What happened up in Michigan? What happened in Michigan? They have an Islamic mayor over in northern Michigan. They have turned the streets from English words to Islamic or Arabic words. Not one sign in that city bears any resemblance to any English or American words at all. And then I saw a video of a woman today saying she and her husband and children are probably going to move out of that city to get away, if they can. Because she is tired of the Islamic people, the men, spitting on her because she's white and refuses to wear a hijab. Yeah, that's a fact. It's happened. The Islamic people started trying to take over a town in Texas. As I said before in this program, Governor Abbott has forbid that to happen. It's against Texas law to allow Sharia law to take over. We're seeing it fall. We're seeing other cities around America fall. This is what is starting to divide our entire country, our societies in this country. Do you think totalitarianism introduces itself as such? Of course it doesn't. When it knocks on its door, does it call itself liberalism? Oh no. No. While conservatives rip each other to shreds, and the Islamic communist dictators are about to take over this country and the biggest important city in our country. And a far-left Somali con artist is about to take over one of America's largest cities in America's heartland. What do you think about that? Let's stay focused. Let's stay focused on the gossip and drama. Yeah. It's not like our country's in the middle of a hostile takeover. Yes, it is. It's right smack dab in the middle of a hostile foreign invasion as we speak. That's where we're at, guys. This is exactly where we're at. And judging from the election results so far, it looks like Zohran Mamdani is going to take over as mayor of America's largest city, New York City. The entire city is going to be taken over. He said that he's going to take over the police department and dethrone the police department. He's going to put, just like Dearborn, Michigan has done, taking Sharia law and enforcing Sharia law in Dearborn, Michigan. He's going to do that in New York as well. They already have Islamic police on the streets. They already have Islamic police on the streets. I've seen their cars. I've heard people talking about it. When these supposed Islamic police see an American out there and they try to arrest or take him into custody, illegally taking him into custody because they believe he's in violation of Sharia law, yeah, that's in violation of the United States Code. That's in violation of Title 18 of the United States Code. We as American citizens must take a stand, and we must take a stand immediately, today. We're not going to let this happen any longer. We cannot allow this to go on. London should not have allowed it. They have it. London is being destroyed, and the United States government is being destroyed one city at a time. Yeah. That's what these Islamic Democrats, socialists, communists are doing, trying to destroy our country. As I said last night, we have got to stand in holy places. We cannot allow this to continue. We as American citizens cannot allow this to continue. Next July 4th is the birthday of the United States of America, the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. Are we going to allow this to continue? Hell no. Hell no, I won't go. Guys, this is going on. What do you think? When we get off this program, leave me a comment underneath our program today. Send me a comment to our email, rltnspdema@gmail.com. Send me a letter. Send me a card. It's Carol and I's birthday, the 11th and 13th. Mine's the 11th, hers is November 13th. Send us a card. Send us a card and tell us what you think. We'd appreciate it. Send us a donation to keep this program in the air. We'd appreciate it. Guys, I've talked your ears off tonight. We've been on the air 90 minutes. I'm sorry about that. But I felt I needed to talk to you about what's been going on in my mind, because it affects each one of us. We need to take our country back. God has ordained the United States of America as the ruler of this country and the example to the rest of the world. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 15, for so is the will of God, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. With well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. As a man on a plane on 9/11 said, let's roll. Let's roll. Heidi Pedrick says, I think we've been taught too long to be blindly obedient. You're right. I am not blindly obedient at all. I never will be. I never will be. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I appreciate our mods putting our addresses on the chat and reminding everybody how they can reach us and how they can support us. I really appreciate that a lot. I appreciate all of you being here. My buddy Rob 52 says prayers, amen. Rob, God bless you, my friend. God bless you. May God bless all of you here. I love all of you, and I love our moderators as well. You folks are upstanding, outstanding people. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. May God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everyone. Much love. If anything else happens here tonight or in the morning, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Have a good night, everybody. Much love. See you soon. God bless. Take care.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. management truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.